that this is a very special day. And it's not an accident. 25 years ago today, the Bad album was released. Exactly today, August 31st, 25 years ago today, this album was released. And then 2 days ago was Michael Jackson's birthday. He was born August 29th, 1958. So it's just Shamon, you know. Even though I've never met them, the children, I know they want to find as much as they can about their daddy. And they will learn a lot about their father when they watch this documentary. Well, one of the reasons why I was so eager to do this documentary is that when I got the mandate from the state and Sony Records, is that they wanted to just concentrate on the music. And I think that for too many years, I'm going to include myself, we've concentrated on stuff about Michael Jackson that had nothing to do with the music. So this is a time to just concentrate on the music, the genius of Michael Jackson. It was a chance to really dig into his creative process. We all are blessed with the final work, but it's rare that you get to see how something's put together. We just see the final product. We don't see the blood, sweat, and tears, all the work that goes into how the masters work. And so this is an opportunity by speaking to the musicians, speaking to the record label people who all concentrate, who all collaborate with Michael in doing this. And people forget, this album, Bad, followed Thriller, which still today is the biggest selling album of all time. So just think about the tremendous pressure Michael was under to try to duplicate. How do you follow up the biggest selling album of all time? But that wasn't daunting to Michael. He wanted Bad to sell, if you saw the film, he wanted Bad to sell 100 million because he was never satisfied what he did. He wanted to advance and get bigger and better and grow every single time out. And that's what great artists do. The great artists don't become stagnant. Great artists don't repeat the same thing again and again and again. And that's what, for me, that's what this documentary is about. And also, with doing this in conjunction with the Michael Jackson estate, Mr. John Branca, John McClain, who's not here, and also Karen Langford, we had complete access. You saw the film. You saw stuff in this documentary the world has never seen, ever. I mean, when I read that note that says, well, Michael, this is one of the most important things I got. When Michael wrote, we showed in the film, study the greats and become greater. I mean, that's amazing. Michael did not just sit in his ass. He was out there, Bob Fosse, Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire, James Brown, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder. He was gathering, studying the greats, not just in music, art, photography, dance, and taking all the things that great artists have done in the world and incorporating it into what he did. So, press conference over. Well, what Michael Jackson means to me is really embodied in this documentary, because I'm not trying to sound trite, but this is, for me, this is the love letter of Michael Jackson. And I grew up with Michael Jackson. I was born 1957. Michael was born 1958. So was Prince. People don't know that Prince and Michael are the same age. And so when I saw Michael as part of the Jackson 5, what year was that? Ed Sullivan's show.
69.
When I saw the Jackson 5 on the Ed Sullivan show, I wanted to be Michael Jackson. I had the afro, the looks, but singing and dancing, that's where it stopped. So I grew up with, I'm just a year older than him. I grew up with Michael Jackson. And then, I mean, that's one of the great things about my life is that all the people I loved, I got to work with. Michael, Stevie Wonder, Prince. These are people I grew up loving. I got to work with them. And from the documentary, for me, it was a confirmation of how hard he worked. Because people who are masters in their field, again, it might sound redundant, people who are masters in whatever field we're talking about, they work at it. You just don't roll out of bed and do stuff. When Michael was 7, 8 years old, he was studying James Brown, Jackie Wilson. He was under the tutelage of Berry Gordy at Motown, where you had Stevie Wonder, and the Supremes, and Temptations, and Marvin Gaye. How do you not use that stuff to impact your musicianship? So, I just hope people, for me, get really, again, let's concentrate on Michael as his music. Let's let all the other stuff go. And just to stop with bad. Let's keep going. The man is tremendous body of work. I was at a conference in Cannes. I had to give a speech, some convention or something. I forgot what it was, and people were calling me. And like a lot of people in the documentary, I did not believe it. I said, this is not true. Then I turned on CNN International, and then the clip is in the documentary where you see Michael's brother, Jermaine. What hospital was that? UCLA. Where Jermaine Jackson gave that press conference at the UCLA hospital that his brother had left us. So I flew back to New York, and I'm not gonna lie, it surprised me how deeply, for a month, I was out of it. And even my wife, my kids were saying, "What's wrong with you?" And I looked at my iPod, and this is embarrassing. I only had one Michael Jackson album on my iPad, off the wall. I had the CDs, but I had on the iPad, I only had one. So I went to Apple Records. I bought an iPod. I said, "Give me every single, I want this, Jackson 5, Jackson's, Michael Jackson." I said, everything's ever been recorded, put it on the iPad. And so for the next year, my family hated me because all I played was Michael Jackson. 24/7. Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson. Well, dancing was part of who Michael Jackson was. So you're right. Bad 25 would have been incomplete if we did not include dancing in it. That's not a hard decision. You can't leave out the dancing. But what we did was, again, we interviewed his choreographers. And we wanted to find out where these moves come from. Like, I did not know Smooth Criminal came from that Fred Astaire thing. What? Yeah, Bandwagon, directed by Vincent Minnelli. The similarities, I'm not saying Michael, I'm not saying he stole it, but that's homage. And he's acknowledged that Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly were two of his biggest heroes. But it's stunning to me the way my editor, the great editor Barry Brown, cut that together. We went from, what's the piece called? Women something. The name of the song, I forgot. Anyway.
El Capone?
No, in Bandwagon. Anyway, whatever that piece is called in Bandwagon, the way it's cut, what? Girl? Yeah, Girl Hunt. My man, thank you. The piece is called Girl Hunt from the film Bandwagon, directed by Vincent Minnelli. We got that straight. But the way we cut Girl Hunt together with the Smooth Criminal, I mean, it's amazing to me. Number one, Man in the Mirror has really become an anthem for Michael. As Joe Vogel says in the film, when John Lennon was assassinated, when he left us, people right away turned to Imagine, and with Michael Jackson's passing, people turned to Man in the Mirror. I'm not going to say that Michael was saying he was Jesus Christ, but if you look at that performance, he's somewhere else. And that was from the Wembley show. That's one of the greatest performances ever. Ever, ever, ever. And you see the way Michael's singing that song, he's not of this world. He's somewhere else. So I cannot say why he did stretch his arms out. You cannot, as Karen Langford told me, she had her hand lightly spanked many times because she used the term videos instead of short films in front of Michael. Michael did not say videos. All these stuff he did, short films. It was a higher art form than videos. And by looking at him, you could tell it. He showed him his short films. Even though I did not do an interview with Quincy, he is given much respect in this documentary, and we thoroughly acknowledge his contribution to Michael Jackson. If you look at the 3 albums, first started with Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. And you could say those are 3 greatest albums ever made, and Quincy Jones worked with Michael, so in no way, shape, or form did we try to slight Quincy Jones' magnificent contribution to the artistry of Michael Jackson. Yes. I was very impressed by Wesley Snipes in the Bad video. In fact, I wanted Wesley to play Ray Raheem, but he chose to do another film. So then I used him in the next film in Mo Better Blues. Sam Jackson and I created that list, and for some reason, Michael Jackson's not in it. I'm not gonna lie. Michael Jackson's name is not in the roll call for Do the Right Thing. So me and Sam got to talk about it, but his name's not in it. Honest disclosure, he's not in it.